Hello students, welcome to AriserTalent. I am your maths teacher Arpita Sharma. Students, today we are going to start our new chapter which is statistics. Okay, so starting with writing the name of the chapter. Right, now what is statistics? Actually, it is simply all about data. And what does data mean? Actually, it's a sort of collection of information. Actually, you have studied that particular topic in your 9th standard also, but we'll be having a quick revision of that, and you have solved the questions on some methods because we have covered the ungrouped data in that. So basically data are of two types, grouped and ungrouped. So cutting the crap here because I have to start right from there. Data. What is data? You all have mobile phones. Okay, you're having data in that. You literally say this, my data have been missed, or it has been deleted, or this and that and blah blah blah. Now you have categories of data, like you have videos, you have images, you have PDFs and whatnot in your smartphones. So these are all data. Why they are called data? Because you are taking a picture, you are clicking a picture, or you are having some videos in your mobile phone. So the image format, having some formats like image format, video format. Now these all things like image, it's having some information. Info like what? Of if you are going to a mountain and you are clicking a picture, and that's information about how many people you went there and what dresses you are wearing and all that stuff. So this is what you're having, some info, some information from that image. Same for the video, but what we talk in mathematics is not about this image or the video. Okay, so you do have done that computer course in your school or anything anywhere else, and you have a very good knowledge of sheets, Excel sheets. Okay, in Excel sheet, what you do? You arrange data simply. Okay, so this particular chapter is related to only that numbers, number data you arrange with like I'm saying you that you are the head boy or the head girl of the school. Now your teacher asks, because we ask too much, do this, do that, and that also and that also. You are having two head students in your class. Let's suppose one is head boy and one is head girl. Now your teacher asks to collect some data, some information about the students of your class. What? You have to collect the name and the age, right, of your particular class, being a head boy. And you, being a head girl, you have asked to know the interest, hobby for some event. Your school is going to have some event, and you're going to ask the interest, in which department, in which club they are interested, like fine arts club or dancing club or singing club, something like that. So you have to talk about the interest and the gender. Okay, now this boy goes, that means you goes there, and this girl goes there and collect information from all the students of that particular class. Now, how will you write that information? Okay, so if you're having, let's suppose you're having only a sorted number of persons in your class, that is 5. Okay, so that boy goes here, and that boy's name is Abhishek. So Abhishek went there and this Abhishek is having 5 more persons. Whatever, when I'm telling you more persons, that means you're having Abhishek and you're having, let's say, Preeti as the head girl. Now Abhishek and Preeti are there. Now the remaining 5 students, naming Hemant or let's say Akshay and Himanshi and Hina and Meenakshi. Okay, so they are basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students and 6 and 7. So total 7 students. Now they are collecting information. How they are supposed to write the information? Something like that. That they went for Hemant and Hemant is of what year old? Let's suppose 15 years old. He is interested in, let's suppose, cricket. So is this a particular method to write the interest, the age, the gender of these 7 persons? Is this a correct method to write that? You will go with that essay to your teacher. Your teacher say, what will your teacher say? Your teacher say, just go again and do that table thing and arrange the data. Arrange the data. Okay. So this is what we are talking about. We have to put that information in a systematic manner, and this is what statistics is about. Okay. So what I am going to do, we are going to just have the same thing as what we have done. We have done roll number here. Okay. In the first column, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. You're having 7 persons in the class. Okay. You can write the name here also. That's optional. But what you have to know, the age. Okay. So the ages are 16, 14, 15, 13, 15, 17 and 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, now the gender. We are writing M for male and F for female. F, M, and M. Okay, so this is the gender. Now the hobby. Now it's having some hobby as dancing. Meenakshi loves cricket. And let's say roll number. She's interested in dancing. He's interested in playing Ludo. He's in singing. Again singing. And cricket. Now this is a sorted form and the teacher will not at least get angry with you. Okay. So this is the format. We have collected data and now anyone who has not collected that data but can understand what this data is all about. What you have to just mention class 10th here. Okay, so this is the data of class 10th. Now this is about collecting data. Now I can analyze this by what? How many of them are below 15? So 1, 2, right, 2 students. Now can I analyze it on the basis of how many are girls and boys? So 2 girls are there and 5 boys are there. So this is the analysis of the data. So getting information is one thing, but convert that information something sorted so that anyone can analyze it and put some result out from that is another thing. So we are talking about the second one. Okay, we have to sort it out in a tabular form so that we can analyze things from them. This is our main motive. Just only taking information is not our motive. To collect them and represent them in a systematic manner, it's what our concern is. Okay, so now come here. So chapter, right, we have some important points to discuss so that our basics will get good. Okay. Okay, so we have to discuss the some important points. Basically, these important points containing the definition and the basic idea, right? So, if I talk about this, the word data means, we have talked about this, information. So, the basic word is here, this information. Its exact dictionary meaning is given facts. Okay, so the age of that particular person is this and this is a fact. Okay, statistical data are of two types, primary data and the secondary data. Now, what is primary data and secondary data? Look, Abhishek went to the class and he directly collected the data. So, when the data was with him, then the data was primary data. Why primary data? Because that is the person who took the data, who collected the data or information. So, that was the primary data. Secondary data. So, I asked Abhishek to collect the data. So, now Abhishek gave me complete data and I am analyzing that. So, for me this is secondary data because I am not the one who collected that. Understanding the difference, Abhishek? Okay, so this is the difference between primary data and secondary data. So, now clear with the two types of data, primary and secondary. Okay. Now, when an investigator collects data himself with a definite plan or design in her mind, it is called primary data. Now, if you are Abhishek using this data, okay, then you're having a specific mindset, then you are going to use in this thing or that thing, and you are the only one who's collecting them. You're using them, you're collecting them. So, this is basically what your primary data. Now, again your teacher asked, so you collected, this is the second one. Data which are not originally collected, rather obtained from or published, that is published or unpublished, right? If you have came with the data, so that is not published data, that is unpublished data, but I am not the one who collected it. So, here my source are what? Secondary. So, I'll categorize in unpublished. What is published? You got some newspaper and you're having some news that according to this bureau or institute, this data have been collected. If someone studies on that or analyze these data, then that is what? Published data. Sources are known as secondary data. Now, the difference is very much clear to you, I guess. So, yes or no? Okay. So, next, after collection of data, the investigator, who's investigator? There is nothing, big thing like investigator, that's not like that. Investigator, the one who investigate the data, who use the data, who use the information of the data for something of his or her use. Okay, investigator has to find ways to condense that in tabular form. What we have done? We have made a table in which we parted the columns in serial number and the age of the student and gender of the student and the hobby or interest of the student. So, that tabular form. In order to study their silent features, such an arrangement is called presentation of data or representation of data. So, this is about the presentation of data. These are the terms you should understand, student. Now, the next point, raw data. Raw data when put in ascending or descending order. Now, what does that mean? Raw data when put in ascending or descending order to magnitude is called an array or arranged data. Now ascending and descending. I was telling you that roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 were having some ages, and they were of 16, 17, 14, 14, 15, 13 and 16. Now, if I arrange that in ascending or descending format, ascending, that means roll number 6 was having age 13 and then roll number 3 was having 14 age, roll number 4 was having also 14 age, then this is roll number 5 who's having 15 age. Now, roll number 1 which is having 16 years old, now 7 which is also 16-year-old, and the last one 2 which is the oldest one in the history. This is 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 numbers here, 7 numbers here, same data. But I have arranged that data in ascending order, okay, in context with the age. Okay, so this is in ascending order, like 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 16 and 17. Now what if here's no 15 and here's 14 also? We'll skip this 14. Just I'll write 14 here. You'll say that ma'am there is no 15. Okay, let it be. It's of no use. You are having no 15 in your data. So you can skip that 15 and write 16 here. Okay. So this is the way. So what will we call that? Arranged data. And we all love short forms. So we'll call it array. Right? Okay. So the next point, which is the number of times an observation occurs. Now this is very linguistic, or what you call it, like you call it in language only, the frequency. Sometimes you're like, these days I'm very frequently watching this particular series, or what we call it. So frequently means like you may say that, like, these days I'm eating sandwich very frequently. That means number of times you are eating sandwich have been raised, have been increased. So frequency means number of times it occurs. Okay. So the number of times an observation occurs in the given data is called frequency of the observation. If I'll talk about this particular table I have made here, so in this portion I have talked about frequency of 14. Now 14 age frequency is what? I'll just count the numbers. This is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. So 14 age frequency is 3. 13 age frequency is what? Only 1. So 1 here. Now I'm having this age 16, right? 16 age frequency is 2. Number of time it occurs. Okay. Now 17, right, it's 1. Now you can add that 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Number of the observations we are getting. So if you sum that up, the frequency, you'll get the number of observations. The summation of that particular frequency will be equals to what? The number of observation, right? Okay, if you want to note it, you can note, right? Okay, class intervals are the groups in which all the observations are divided. Now student, I was talking about a small class having only 7 students in it, and we are talking about the data of the 7 students. But you may see in your school that the condition is not like that. We may have more than even 100 students, different sections in your schools, and even then we may not only talk about the class, we may talk about the complete school, and there are hundreds of students in your school. So now the situation becomes the complex one. You can't have the data of roll number 1 is this, roll number 2 is this, roll number 3 is having this age. You should have grouped them. Group them in what way, right? Okay. So let's suppose you're having 100 students in your particular class in the different sections. So what will you do? And you have to arrange the data as per the date, as per the age. So you may group them. How? You may group them. The class 10th, in your class 10th, you're having ages varying from 13 to 18. Okay. And in the class 9th, we are talking about the both. So we are having this class 9th also here, and the age may vary from 12 to 15. So basically there is a range of 12 to 18. We are having some 100 students that particular. So we can group that in that manner, that 12 to 14. Then 14 to 16. Then 16 to 18. Yes, this is the, now the first thing, this is what the lower limit, and this is what the upper limit. Now student, look carefully. If I am telling you that the number of students having the age between in this group 12 to 14 are 25. Now I am telling you, in this category they are 25. Now they are 50. So they are total number of 100 students in each category, in the complete categories. So you may ask one question, ma'am, there is a student having an age 14. You have covered that one here also. You have covered that one here also, and still the number is 100. There should be more than 100. So student, there is a thing. If we write the upper lower limit like this way, because there are two ways to write that limit. If I am writing this 12 and 14 and being continuous to that, again 14 to 16. So that limit is not including in that group. That means in this I am talking about only 12 and 13 but not 14. 14 will be counted here. Okay, understood that thing? Will not have the age student of age 14 in this particular group. Only the upper limit, only the lower limit will be considered, and all the numbers below 14 will be considered. Below the upper limit will be considered. Okay, so this is the way. There is one more way to write, to group that particular data, that is, we may write 12 to 14. Now we will write 15 to 16. No, we can write that 17 also. Now we can write 18, 21. Now 12 to 14, upper limit, lower limit, totally different. Now this number will be the next to that one. Okay, so 12, then 14, now 14, after that 14, that will be 15. Now 17, 15 to 17 here, now after 17 there is 18. So this pattern different from this one, these are same but these are different, these are not same. So there are two patterns. If the values are given in that format, you have to convert in this format. Okay, we will solve with that format only. Okay. Okay, so now you understood the frequency of the observation. What is called as the frequency of observation? Simply the number of times an observation occurs. Okay, this is all about that. We were talking about the classes actually. Class intervals are the groups in which all the observations are divided. Now these are what? Groups. Now it's time to look back in your 9th class. 9th class, you have solved the questions based on ungrouped data. And now you are big enough to deal with the group data. So basically class 10th is all about group data. Okay, So we'll talk about this group data, and don't worry if you forget something about ungroup data, we'll do some basic question or example or some of example from 9th class, so you may relate. Okay. Okay. So these are these points. So suppose class interval is 10 to 20, then 10 is called the lower limit and 20 is called the upper limit of the class. I've told you. Okay. So should I mention this again? No? Yeah. Mid value of class interval is called class mark. Now it's important to know the class mark. What is class mark? I'm taking this group from 10 to 20. So there is some formula. Basically, what is the class mark? Class mark is nothing but the mid value. Mid value of upper and lower limit. Like I'm having this 10 to 20, so I'll be having this 10 and this 11 and this 12, this 13, this 14, this 15, this 16, this 17. I'm rubbing that thing. 18, 19, 20, I know you know countings, okay, but my intentions are not to make you remind your countings, but this. If I'll mark this 15 as class mark, so there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things here and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things here. So this is a balance. Okay, so this is basically the mid value. This is basically the mid value. So we will call it as what? The class mark. Okay. Now we are having some formula. Basically, it's very easy to find out the mid value, but it's not something like that you are always given the 10 and 20 and the numbers you are very attracted to these simple numbers. Now, you may have something like 9.5 to 11.6 type things, which you may not like, and to count things like this. So what will you do? You'll just simply do one thing. Lower limit plus lower limit plus upper limit. You have just to find the mid value, na? So you are having a very simple formula by 2. Taking the average of that upper limit and lower limit will give you the mid value or the class mark. Okay, so this is your formula, right? You may write it or copy it from here, or what you can say, you can copy it from here. Mid value of class interval is called class mark. Class mark equals to lower limit plus upper limit whole divided by 2. Simple. Copy. Okay. Now, if the frequency of first class interval is added to the frequency of the second class and this sum is added to the third class and so on, then frequency so obtained are known as cumulative frequency, CF. This may sound a little awkward to you right now, but when we'll do the questions on that, that will be very, very understandable to you guys, okay? The understanding will be made after the questions, but I'm just giving you a brief idea for that, what that thing is want you make understand. So, this saying that you're having like I've told you 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5, the frequency is 3 or 4 or 5 and 3 again and 4 again. Now let's suppose this is Now what's this? I'm having some numbers like this. Then 43. And 25. I have just created the question on the basis of the solution. Forgive me. So let's suppose we are having these numbers in our question, and we just write down the frequency of the particular number. That is, 11 comes 3 times in this, 1, 2, 3. The frequency of 11, frequency of having 11 is 3 times, 32, 4 times, 43, 5 times, 14, 3 times, 25, 4 times. Let's suppose you are having a test in your class and you are getting some numbers. Okay, and you are, how many students you are? Okay, 5, 9, 12, 15, 19. So you are 19 in numbers and you are getting these numbers. So the frequency of getting number 11 is 3, getting numbers 32 is 4, getting number 43 is 5, getting number 14 is 3, and getting number 25 is 4 in your class. Okay. Now it's saying then first class interval, the frequency of first class interval is added to the, now that may be for one number, but if this is like it may be like 11 to 32, let's suppose this. Okay, so you are getting 3. Now if I add this frequency to this frequency, that is 7. Now I am adding this frequency to this frequency. Sorry, this 7 to this 7 to this 5, that is 12. Now I am adding this 12 to this 3, 15. Now I am adding this 15 to 4. Okay, so that will be 19. This 19 is known as what? Cumulative frequency, right? The frequency of first class interval is added to the frequency of second class, and this sum is added to third class, and so on. So this will be known as what? Cumulative frequency. Now here I am giving you only numbers, but they may have been grouped like that may be 9 to 11, that may be the marks ranging from 12 to 32, something like that. So that summation will be known as cumulative frequency. Is that clear to you guys? Okay. Okay students, so basically this cumulative frequency, because they are less than and greater than frequencies too, so we'll talk about them, but not in today's lecture. In our next lecture, or may not be in next lecture, but in the lecture when we'll talk about the cumulative frequency. Okay, and we will do the questions of cumulative frequency, then we'll talk about this. Till then what you have to do is you just have to revise these things and just try the question of your first exercise in your textbook. Till then, take care. We'll meet soon in our next lecture. Bye bye.